Hello, my name is Matthias and welcome to the team selection video for Gameweek 38, which is the final game week of the season, and it's a season that has been pretty terrible for me. I am around 1 million ranked in the world, which is far off of what I usually finish around and far off of what I had set as a goal before the season. I usually try to aim for top 10k in the world. I've done that a couple times, and I've also been close several other times. I was 17k last season. And this season has just been a huge disappointment. So I'm looking forward to potentially doing some really fun moves for Gameweek 38, but we'll get to that pretty soon. First, we're going to go through Gameweek 37, which was a pretty decently sized double game week with 4 teams having 2 matches. And I had a lot of players from those teams. I had triple City, triple Man United, and triple or double Brighton, who all had 2 matches, and it still resulted in only 68 points, which is like a good score for a normal game week, but for a double game week, it's pretty bad. So yeah, I'm going to take you through the whole team, starting with Raya, 4 points, got some save points, which was nice, conceded against Harry Kane and Spurs, of course, but still, he had 6 saves and got 4 points in the end, which is pretty good for him. He's been actually a pretty decent goalkeeper. He's been one of he's been probably my favorite goalkeeper. Him and Arrizabalaga have been like decent for me this season. Other than that, I started the season with Ward and Everson, which was terrible. I bought Robert Sanchez, who was also terrible. And at the wildcard in Game 26, I did Sanchez and Ward, who both got dropped within like 2 weeks in both their teams. So it's been terrible at the goalkeeping position, and Raya has been one of the few bright spots. So 4 points from him, more than happy with that, considering he conceded against Kane, which is really something that most goalkeepers do this season, it seems like. In defense, John Stones, just been another terrible City signing for me. I think, apart from Haaland, I've had like 7 or 8 different City players now, and they've all been terrible for me. It's so strange. They're the best team in the league, and I can't seem to get them right ever. Like, I didn't have Foden at the right time, didn't have De Bruyne at the right time, didn't have Mahrez at the right time. I've had them at the wrong time, all of them. Stones as well. 3 points. He started actually in the second game and conceded, of course. And in the first game, he got like 30 minutes or something. So sadly, only 3 points for him, even though he's played in both matches. And meanwhile, on the bench, I have both Trippier and Botman with clean sheet points and bonus, which is kind of annoying. I have a lot of points on my bench. It's 27 points on the bench. So that's kind of annoying this game week as well. But Luke Shaw was one of the bright spots, but even him, he managed to make my life sour as well in the match that just finished. I just watched it on TV. Luke Shaw started the game, looked decent as always, looked like he was going to be on for a clean sheet, potentially some bonus as usual, following up his nice performance in the first game where he got 9 points, but then at the half he got subbed off with a slight injury, and now he's a doubt for the final game as well. So huge letdown for me in the end with Shaw, but Shaw has been really good for me. I rectified, at least for the game weeks that he has played. It's just the injuries that have been hampering him, but at least Man United conceded anyway after he got subbed off, so maybe he wouldn't have gotten the clean sheet points anyway. Persis Tabinian, not the best game week from him. Didn't score any points, just 2 points in each game, 4 points in total. Meh. Espina, though, he looks really good still. He gets into the box so many times, and he easily could get more goals and assists next season as well. So I think he's been one of the brighter spots this season for me. So I think he's also someone I'm going to consider early on next season. But Brighton keep conceding goals, so maybe not. But Estupiñán is such an offensive player and such a fun player to watch as well in FPL. So he's definitely one to watch for the future in next season's Fans Premier League. Then we have Real Mahrez, who is always someone who you need to get at the right time, and I never seem to get it right, and that is true this time as well. Brought him in for Kevin De Bruyne, who is another player who struggled for me the past few game weeks, and then Mahrez actually started both matches, but didn't really get anything. He got 2 points in the first game, 3 points in the second game, I think, or the opposite, 3 points in the first game, 2 points in the second game. No goal returns, wasn't really that close. He had a couple of nice passes through. He actually had an assist taken off, but it was handball, clearly handball. So yeah, Mahrez, 5 points, disappointing. He's also someone I'm looking to offload straight away because yeah, just City players. I swore off City players when I sold most of them on the Gameweek 26 wildcard, but then somehow I was roped into getting Grealish and then De Bruyne and then Stones and then Mahrez. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself, but yeah, never again probably with City players, which is kind of stupid. But yeah, moving on, Salah has always been good to me in FPL, and 5 points this time, decent, got an assist. That's it. Really interesting about Salah. He tweeted now right after the Man United game when it was clear that Liverpool won't be getting into the Champions League. He tweeted, his disappointment, and he was so sad for the fans and all that stuff. So I don't know what that tells you for the future. I don't know what it tells you for the last game. Liverpool don't really have anything to play for now, so maybe Salah gets rested like Klopp has done in the final game of the season a couple times. So yeah, it's a bit worrying with Salah. He might be super good. He might be super like vengeful after not making Champions League, and he might want to get to 20 goals. He has 19 goals currently, so he might be really good for the final game week. But assist this time, Salah's been good for me. Pretty happy with him. Bruno Fernandes as well. Got to be happy with him as well, even though he once again could have had so much more in both matches. He had around 1 expected goal involvement, like 1.0 expected goal involvement in the first game. Second game, I haven't checked his numbers, but he scored a goal. He had a ball hit the crossbar, like a shot hit the crossbar, and he also had the pass for Marcus Rashford, where Rashford missed the first chance and then scored on the rebound, which made Fernandes' assist go away. That also would have given Fernandes 3 bonus points, so that was 6 points lost for Fernandes from Rashford just missing a huge chance. And Rashford as well, if he had scored, maybe he would have gotten bonus points as well because he missed a big chance. So Rashford ended up with 7 points, Fernandes with 11. Can't really be unhappy with that, but at the same time, it could have been so much more if Rashford just bags the first attempt there against Kepa Arrizabalaga, but sadly it wasn't meant to be. We have McAllister, 6 points. Not the best. He got 5 points in the first match and then didn't start in the second match. Got subbed on, 6 points. Pretty disappointing once again from Brighton midfielders. They have been pretty disappointing. I don't have Mitoma personally, but he disappointed me earlier in the season anyway. So yeah, he's been Mitoma has been the most unlucky, but also the most like, I guess it's a mixture of both luck and skill, I guess, because he's been having some huge chances that he hasn't scored lately, and that has actually helped me a lot in FPL because I don't have him. He's like one of the biggest dangers to my rank, so I've been pretty lucky in that regards. But McAllister, not the best, 6 points. He's off to probably Liverpool now, so that's going to be interesting for Brighton. I think it's going to open up a lot of things for Enciso, who's looked amazing and scored a fantastic goal against Man City. A beautiful shot from Enciso. I think he's one of the picks for next season as well. Then we have Haaland. He didn't start in the first game. He came on, didn't really do anything, and then in the second game he scored a goal. He had a goal disallowed as well, quite clearly, like correctly as well. He definitely pulled the shirt of the defender, so no reason for anyone to complain about VAR stepping in and taking that away. But Guardiola did so anyway. He got a yellow card for arguing the ref afterwards. But Haaland, 12 points. Once again, also another player who should have had a lot more, but that didn't really matter because everyone has Haaland as captain, at least this game week. It's going to be interesting for Game Week 38 to see what people do with him. But yeah, Haaland, 12 points. It's okay, I guess, but he's been such a good player this whole season, so you can't really complain about Haaland. Someone you can complain about a bit is Isak, and that's not because of Isak himself, because he's such an amazing player. He's so fun to watch, but he just plays super wide on the left with Wilson as a starting striker, so it's been a really big disappointment for me the last few game weeks that Isak hasn't done anything, and Wilson has been so good when I haven't had Wilson. So yeah, hopefully Isak can start up front in the final game. I don't know. I might sell him still. I don't think so, though. I'm such a huge fan of Isak. I just want to watch him play, and I hope he scores against Chelsea as well. He can easily score a couple goals against Chelsea, even if he plays only the last 30 minutes as a striker. But yeah, I think Isak, it's a shame that he's played on the left, but whenever Callum Wilson gets injured next season, Isak is a definite in your FPL team. I think with those two guys, you need to have one of them if the other one is injured. And yeah, I think Isak is a decent option anyway, because he's going to play 90 minutes in most games, whether it is as a left winger or as a striker. And then obviously the bench, Emerson got a clean sheet against Newcastle. Super lucky for Leicester to get a clean sheet. And then Newcastle really had no issues keeping a clean sheet against Leicester. And it seemed like both teams were quite happy with 1 point each. So 0-0 in the end in that match. Greenwood, 1 point on the bench. What you gonna do? So that's the whole team. I did 2 transfers. Solly March was injured, subbed him off for Fernandes, and I could afford that because I sold De Bruyne to get Mahrez. De Bruyne was even worse than Mahrez, so pretty happy with selling De Bruyne, but Mahrez was not the best transfer in. Should have brought in SA, who I am potentially bringing in this game week, and that's what we're going to go to right now. We're going to look at the future plans. The Game 38 plans, I have 1 transfer available, 1 free transfer at least, and I have 0.5 in the bank. At least maybe with some decent options. I could get SA, whether it is for Mahrez or for McAllister. Both of those guys are on the outs for me. I'm not 100% sure either of them starts, especially Mahrez. Got 2 games in a row now without impressing. So yeah, I think Mahrez is the one I'm likely to sell, but we potentially get some team news as well, and team news is going to be the most important thing here. But Whether I sell Morris or McAllister, I'm pretty certain I'm going to bring in SA. Only thing I'm considering is potentially bringing in Bowen, but I think I'm also a little short when it comes to selling Morris to get Bowen, so I need to do something else to get Bowen in. And the only reason that I'm considering Bowen really, because West Ham don't really have too much to play for. I guess they could actually get ahead of Chelsea on the table if they win by 2 goals or Chelsea lose by 2 goals. But that would be really fun for me as a West Ham fan to see them go above Chelsea at least. But the reason I'm considering Bowen is that he just had twins, and the last time when he actually announced that he was going to have twins, he scored twice against Everton and celebrated with taking the ball under his shirt and having like the baby celebration and stuff. So kind of hoping for the same thing. I know West Ham have some really good results against Leicester the last few seasons, and Bowen has scored a couple goals against them as well. So I think it would just be fun as a West Ham fan just to put everything in the West Ham basket and just try to have some fun on the final game week, because it's been a terrible season. So I just want to have someone to root for really. But I think if I'm playing it correctly, sort of like if I'm playing it boring and correctly, I think I would just do Morris or McAllister out for Eze and then captaining Haaland. We'll get to the captaincy pretty soon, but I'm just going to talk a little bit about the other transfers in potentially. So I could also do Morris and McAllister out for Eze and Ødegaard. That is also something I'm really considering. I think Arsenal will absolutely demolish Wolverhampton at home. I think they have to. They really need to put on a good performance for the fans, because they've been so bad lately, but maybe they're just so physically tired. Like I think they're emotionally tired from being so close to winning the league and then flopping at the end, but they might be physically tired. I think that might be the bigger case against bringing in Ødegaard for this game week, or someone like Saka or Trossard for that matter. But I think there is like a universe where Arsenal just completely batter Wolverhampton and give the fans something to cheer about and have high hopes for next season when they are going to win the league if they get Declan Rice for sure. That's a hot tip for me. If they had Declan Rice this season, they would have won the league. That's how big of a fan I am of Declan Rice. But enough about Rice. We're not talking about him. I'm not bringing him in for this game week, even though he's probably playing his final game for West Ham, which is going to be sad for me as a West Ham fan. But speaking of the final game for their team, this might also be the final game for Kane in a Spurs shirt, and that's why I'm really interested in bringing in Kane. But I think the only way I can get Kane is if I sell Haaland, and the only way I sell Haaland is if he's not starting. If we get confirmed news that he's not starting, I think that's the only way I sell Kane. Potentially, if we get no team news, maybe I have a hunch that Haaland doesn't start. Maybe I bring in Kane for Haaland, but other than that, can't really see any way I can get Kane. Even if I sell someone like Morris for Eze and I downgrade Stones to Yerry Mina, I still don't think I have enough money to do Isak to Kane. So yeah, but Yerry Mina, speaking of him, he's also someone else that I kind of root for. I picked him in my weekly wildcard drafts last week and he scored. And I picked him again this week in my weekly wildcard drafts, the video I posted on Wednesday. And I think he has a decent chance of getting a clean sheet at home to Bournemouth. Everton need to win the game most likely, or else they have to make sure that either Leeds or Leicester don't win, which is a possibility, I think, for sure. So I think Yerry Mina is a decent differential shot, but at the same time, buying a defender is kind of boring for the final game week. It seems like a lot of people are thinking in the same lines as me when it comes to that. It seems like a lot of people just want to have fun, pick a really nice offensive differential pick. It's only one game week to think about now. There's no like future game weeks to think about for your team. So getting like an attacking player who could score like a brace or something seems more interesting than a defender who might be able to get a goal perhaps and then a clean sheet. Like it's more fun to have an offensive player. But saying that, Trent Alexander-Arnold is also another player I'm sort of considering in defense. If I sell Stones, you can see potential transfers out. I have 3 City players because I'm pretty tired of City. And also, we don't really know what City will do in the final game week of the season either. But if I sell Morris to Eze, I think I have enough money exactly to do Stones to Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think that also could be a wise decision because Trent has been so good lately. And playing against Southampton could definitely see him score a lot of points. But you never know with Klopp in the final game week. Maybe he plays like a weekend side. It's away from home as well. They don't really have anything to prove at home. He might give time to James Milner at right back because Milner is playing his final game. And that said, we could also see Bobby Firmino start as well. Those guys might also be taking penalties away from Salah if they want to have like a send-off goal as well. But I don't really know about the Liverpool game now that they don't have anything to play for. But it's really interesting, I think, that game, because Salah could also easily be super hungry and score the 20th goal that he needs and take penalties still and score a couple goals because Southampton are that bad as well. So So yeah, I'm going a bit all over the place now, but I think I've mentioned all the players that I'm considering bringing in. I think currently it's obviously team news dependent. I think everyone should keep their transfers until like the final 10, 15, 5 minutes before the deadline. Hopefully nothing crashes. We've seen that earlier in the season. I was at the wrong end of that one as well. I did bring in Almiron when the site crashed and the transfer didn't go through, and Almiron got like 13 points. But that's one of the many terrible stories from this season for me. But I think still you should. It seems like they've fixed their servers now, so I think they should be fine for the final game of the season. So I think you should keep your transfers until the very end, because we might get some team news right before the deadline, and that might be huge news. Like if we get news that Haaland doesn't start, then Haaland to Kane is such an obvious transfer. I think a lot of people would bring in Kane and captain Kane as well if that's the case. But we can also get news that Salah doesn't start. We could get news about at least for me, it could get news about Shaw or Stones and their injuries and stuff. So yeah, but I think even if Shaw and Stones are out, I think Botman is a decent shout for a defender as well, because Chelsea just can't finish their chances as well, and Newcastle have been pretty good defensively all season. So I'm not too sad if I have to play Trippier, Botman, and Estupinian as my defenders. I think they all can get a lot of points as well. So. But there's also a decision for me in goal. I have David Raya currently starting against Man City. I'm guessing if they play a weakened team, Man City, like a lesser team against Brentford, then Raya could easily keep a clean sheet. He could also get a lot of saves, potentially save a penalty if Haaland is not on penalties. Mahrez has missed a lot of penalties the last few seasons, so maybe Raya saves a penalty in the final game. But I could also go with Everson, who's been sort of like, I guess I could finish with the Leicester goalkeepers. One of the Leicester goalkeepers in goal, because I started the season with Ward and Everson, and I've had one of either of them the whole season, and they've been pretty terrible for me. But they've had a couple of highlights as well. But still, maybe I finish the season with Everson. But at the same time, he plays against West Ham. I'm hoping West Ham win and send Leicester down and keep Everton up for my co-host Kevin's sake. He is a big Everton fan, so that's also why I'm sort of interested in bringing in Mina. But yeah, I think I'm just going to start Raya. I think he's been good to me. He's getting a lot of saves when he doesn't get clean sheets anyway, so I think he's a decent shout. So I think that's pretty much it. I think the only thing that I haven't really talked about with this team is Alexander Isak. I think I'm still going to keep the faith. I might also sell him. The other potential transfer out and in that I had listed previously was Isak out and Firmino in, which is something I'm considering as well. Firmino is playing his final game. Pretty sure he's going to start, and they really want to give him a nice send-off, I think. And Firmino is one of those guys who can easily just score like a hat-trick or something. He's proven that several times in his FPL career, that he can score a hat-trick here and there. He even did it this season, I think. Earlier in the season, he's had like a huge game where he had like 3 goals and an assist or something. So could easily do that in the final game of his Liverpool career as well. So that's also another transfer that I'm potentially doing, but still. I think most likely Mahrez to Eze is pretty much nailed, pretty much 95%, unless Mahrez starts and McAllister is benched. Then maybe I do McAllister to Eze. And then on top of that, potentially the other one, Mahrez or McAllister, the one that I didn't sell, I might sell him for Ødegaard. Maybe if I get cash, I could also do, if I do like the bit more, I don't know. If I get news that Haaland doesn't start, I think Haaland to Kane makes a lot of sense. I might just do Mahrez to Eze and Haaland to Kane and just save the money in the bank. Or maybe I also add McAllister to Bowen on top of that, because I can afford that. I think if I do Mahrez to Eze and Haaland to Kane, I have enough money to do McAllister to Bowen as well, and potentially captain Bowen just as like a final, like hopefully something good happens. But yeah, I think as far as captaincy goes, that's the final thing I'm going to discuss. I think if Haaland starts, it actually seems like he's going to be a differential captain now. It seems like people are going with Salah. It seems like some people are selling Haaland, going with Kane. It seems like some people are going with like a differential option. Someone like Eze, something I'm considering as well. Someone like Bowen that I'm considering. Some people might go with Rashford or Fernandes. They have easy home games as well. There are so many good captaincy options this week. But I think if Haaland starts, he's probably still the best captaincy option. And especially if a lot of people are not captaining him and he's a differential, I think he's going to be a huge captaincy option he might score a final hat-trick of the season. Maybe he finally gets the hat-trick away from home. So I'm leaning towards Haaland as captain so far. Salah is still in consideration as well. It just depends how I'm feeling about Liverpool and how they treat the final game. But other than that, I might also captain one of the players I bring in. I'm still considering Eze as captain, considering Ødegaard as captain, considering Bowen as captain. There's so many captaincy options here, even the Man United boys, but probably not for those guys. But yeah, there's so many captaincy options, but I think Haaland is my favorite option. And then if I don't captain Haaland, it's probably one of the guys I bring in, whether that's Kane, Bowen, Eze, or Ødegaard, one of those guys. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers all of it. I'm wishing you guys a happy Gameweek 38. I hope you like this video. If you found it interesting, I hope you subscribe to this channel, because that's one of my goals for next season. I've talked about my rank and stuff at the start of this video, and I've said this in a couple other videos already, but for next season, I have 2 goals I have to fulfill. Otherwise, I retire from FPL entirely. So one of those goals is finishing within the top 10K in the world next season. I think I might be able to do that. I've done it before, and hopefully I can do some smart things. I'm gonna think a lot about FPL this summer and what I do wrong, what I did wrong, what I did right this season. Not that much right, but what I've done right in the past to get a good rank, and try to get back to that. But yeah, if I don't finish inside the top 10K though, the other lifeline I have to continue my FPL career is if I get 10K subscribers on this YouTube channel. So please, if you want to help me with that goal, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It would be much appreciated. Had a couple new subscribers the past 24 hours actually, which is really nice to see. So yeah, please join the movement. And you can also join the mini league if you want to join for the final game week of the season. You can see the mini league code there above me, right over there, 6IYV7U. Final chance to join the mini league. We'll have the mini league for next season as well. So make sure to join that as well. Other than that, don't really have much else to say. I think I covered pretty much everything now in about 20 minutes, which is a decent video length. So with that, I'm going to say that I'm going to stop rambling, because I keep doing that. And I also say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.